Statesmen Nation. We're here with junior women's golfer Helene Larsen out of Viborg, Denmark. I knew I'd mess it up. There's just too many words. I just want to get them all right, and I mess it up. But I got close. Helene Larsen, here you go, right here. Appreciate you coming in for a little bit. You were off camera for the last few minutes. Got to watch Sebastian talk and give all his answers to his Statesman 16. She says she has a lot of the same answers. That's okay. That's great. That means obviously you guys.
Must be a Danish thing.
Yeah, it must be a Danish thing, cultural thing that you guys all kind of think the same. No, I'm kidding. That's not it. But that'll be cool. Either way, I'm very excited to sit down with you for a little bit. And you guys are off to a nice start in the women's golf season. We're gonna definitely talk about that. We're gonna talk about more about this. But I guess first off, let's talk golf. 2 tournaments in, you guys have been right there in both of them. Just talk about how the season's been going. I'm sure you've had some ups and downs, some tough courses out there, but you guys most recently coming off tying a school record with the 302. So maybe that turned the corner and keep going. There's always high expectations for the women's golf team the last handful of years. So let's just talk about this past month and a half and how things are going.
Yeah, well, we definitely have high expectations for ourselves as well, and these first 3 tournaments have been up and down, and we haven't, even though we've been in contention, we haven't been where we wanted to be. Right. Especially the 2 down in South Dakota, they were tournaments we figured we were hoping to be in contention to win, and we were, but both times we were knocked to second by the same school twice, which was quite a disappointment. We went back there really just determined to get that win, and was both times we kind of put ourselves out of it on the first day. I don't really know what was going on, but we think that with that 302 we really got something going, and everybody's very excited, and I'm really excited for the team. I think we really got something good. We had a talk about it, and we're thinking it's really get that team feeling going again for a little bit. Just starting up the season, we were a little bit, I don't know, want to say, slow getting started with that. We haven't been hanging out as much because we've been busy and everything. So now that we really know what's going on, we're trying to get into it and really play for each other and be out there and expecting that to give some good results.
Definitely. Yeah, and again, I mean, the expectations being here, and just because you're not shooting 302 every day doesn't mean that there's not a lot of great things happening. And it's a long year with you guys playing in the fall, actually qualifying for nationals in the spring. It's a process. There's a lot of things. Can't just take one tournament and say, well, it's the end of it. So expectations moving forward. Now, obviously, you guys are probably working on some of it, have been working on some of it, working on that teamwork side of things, even though it's a very individual sport. But what else do you guys feel like you need to work on to continue to progress and reach all those goals as the year progresses?
One of the things we're really focusing on as well is confidence, just be out there and really believe individually and as a team that we are the best ones out there and go out and smash it, because we know we can. We know we have the ability. We just need to translate it onto the field and onto the course, and it's a mental thing, and it's a thing I think we're finding. You see it in practices, you see it all the time. We know it's there. We just really need to get it over that last bump, and some of the ways to do that is to really get the game solidified, and we do that by repetition. There's so much of the short game, getting into it and really just making sure we have everything set up so it's just that last little bit for us to get where we want to be.
Definitely. Individually, your career has continued to progress. I mean, you've gotten better every year. What are your expectations this year for yourself? What are your goals that you set? And I guess where do you fit into the picture of the whole team? I mean, you guys have a lot of experience back. There's some good new talent as well that you guys are obviously probably trying to groom. But where do you fit in that picture, and what are your goals?
Well, team-wise, my thing this year is just really to be in contention for the 1, 2, 3 spot every single time. I want to make sure that I'm not falling off on things. I don't want to lose the consistency, and I really just want to keep it up. I have some mental things, so that's one of the things I'm working on, making sure that doesn't get in my way. And I guess more concretely, I personally want to, because I know I can, so I want to try and really break that barrier into the negatives this year, and I hope that when we all hopefully make it to nationals again, which that's a team goal. I mean, that's just open. I want to try and see and make it into that top 10.
Sure.
And as good as it can get from there.
Definitely. Very cool. Alrighty, well, you guys have still several tournaments left as this year progresses, so best of luck as everything moves forward. Again, it's a long season, having to just, grind through it sometimes, but you guys have done it year after year, and I know you're ready and you're going to put forth the effort, so best of luck as you're going forward. So, again, she has picked all of her fun questions, and the first one right out the gate, Helena, is what is your nickname? And you said you kind of were going to talk about it, so I'm just going to let you roll with all this.
Yeah, well, I think my nickname, I don't really have one here. Back home, it's a last name thing as well. I think a lot of people call me Holy Hill, which nobody here can pronounce.
I'm not going to even
so
try
that's
that
not
one.
even because the word Holy means calm, so it's a bit of a joke making that way, and I'm not the calmest person in the world.
So golf's a tough sport for you then.
Yeah, it's a little bit, just a bit.
Yeah.
But here it's kind of a thing, because my name Helene, nobody really knows how to pronounce it,
Right.
and even if people do, they struggle a bit. So.
Yeah, we Americans will butcher that probably just a little bit. I know I did. So
every time I kind of introduce myself, it's so stupid. I should just go with one thing. I know that because everybody says maybe Helene is quite easy, but I'll introduce them with like 3 different options to choose from, and and some of the girls kind of joke about it and call me Helen or something. So that's a bit of a thing.
Yes. All right. Coming across the pond as a freshman 3 years ago, 2+ years ago. Why did you choose William Penn?
I chose Penn. I had some options, and I had the hot places to choose from as well. But
could have played year round somewhere else for sure.
But that really didn't matter because as soon as I talked to Coach Roll, it was kind of set. He really sold it on me, sold the program. I loved the way they presented the opportunities for development here. I knew that this was going to be a place that I wouldn't just kind of get lost, that it would really be a good thing, and the way he presented everything about teamwork and just the whole atmosphere seemed right to me. And I love the diversity on top of that and the rest of the school. So
yeah. Well, you bring plenty of diversity yourself. There you go. All right. You kind of talked about this a little bit, but you can develop it a little more. What's your favorite thing about this program?
Well, that is probably the teamwork and the all the opportunities we have for development. Because I knew when I came here, I hadn't reached my top, and being home, we don't really focus on sports like this. So once you're going off to uni, you kind of settle into a bit of a
academic role.
Yeah. So I love that I was going to be able to come here and still develop, and not even knowing how far it was going to take me. So
definitely.
Yeah.
New coach this year. We didn't really talk about that off camera, but Coach Pearson taking over, and he'd been with the program in the past, so not a big change I think for you guys. But this is the coach you get to describe. So describe Coach Pearson in one word.
Well, yeah, he's a great guy, and I think the one word he's going to get from me is patient, because he's doing a great job. We are a bunch of crazy girls, and a lot of the time I think that just gets a little bit too far. So he's doing a great job with that, and he's got 2 little twin girls. So I'm guessing we're going to be good practice for him to deal with that. Cause we can be a handful, that's for sure.
All right. Favorite restaurant, so this is going to be a 2-parter for me, because I'm curious, but favorite restaurant back home, and what do they serve that's so great, and then favorite restaurant back here?
Oh, yeah, so I'll start with back home. I actually work at a restaurant. I'm quite fortunate that for the past 2 summers I've got home and worked 5 and 9 weeks out of the summer at a gourmet restaurant. It's one of the best restaurants in the world, but they decide to be a bit more casual, so taking people like me, and the food is amazing, and that I get to be a part of that, I find so cool. And I think here, I really just Tiranoski, we go to Miran all the time, which, I mean, it's a classic.
It's, great food, nice, relax, everything, just a good place to probably hang out for all you guys. Yeah, definitely. If you were not golfing, what other sport would you like to play?
I think for me, I used to play soccer as a kid, which I mean it's a while ago, so I'm not jumping onto the women's soccer team anytime soon. But that or tennis. I grew up with my dad playing tennis and my sisters, so that's pretty cool.
Very cool. What's some advice you'd give to a junior high school kid preparing to go to college and wanting to be an athlete in college, I should say?
Well, first off, go for it. Really give it everything that it takes. Don't be lazy, because that is not the time to be lazy about it. And just be excited, because I think a lot of people coming here, myself included, you get kind of intimidated by it and you get a little bit nervous, and it does tend to make it a slower transition, but just realize that it's the same as it always was, just different people. So be excited about it, I think is
definitely. Just embrace the whole process, right?
For sure.
All right. Also, just like Sebastian off camera now, world traveler. I mean, at least coming here to here, so that that's quite a bit of a change in a lot of places you've seen in the world. But where's the one place you'd most like to visit, or maybe you've already visited there and you want to go back? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I've traveled a lot with my family as well, and the few places we haven't gone, I haven't been to Asia ever. I've been to Australia, not to Asia, and I haven't been to Africa, and I haven't gone to South America. So a few of my places I really like to see. Some of South America,
right.
Go to Brazil or something,
Cool.
But also Japan. I think it's a culture. Go to like the old traditional Japan.
Right.
Is a thing I'd really like to see.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. All right, when you have spare time, again, you guys student athletes, you pack a lot in your 24 hours. But when you have spare time, what do you do?
Yeah, well, with that little bit of spare time, obviously. Golf is a very time-consuming sport, so it's a very energy-consuming sport as well, so I'm very tired a lot of the time,
right.
And I do need a lot of sleep, and I spend a lot of time on homework, but when all that is said and done, I just like hanging out with people, and but I like my own time, I like alone time, so I like to just fiddle around, do stuff, and watch some movies, and
and just relax, and not be in the SID's office having him ask dumb questions, I'm sure. You could be sleeping right now, so I got you in here.
Probably wouldn't be. Coaches would have me doing something.
Yeah, right. All right, what's been the biggest challenge so far in your life?
I'm a perfectionist, absolutely, in everything that I do, to a fault at points. So I think that's a challenge I've been dealing with for a long time, and with golf especially as well.
Golf stuff, because there's no such thing as perfection in golf.
There is not, and just getting over that mental barrier is something I'm still doing. I'm still trying to convince myself that it's okay.
Right.
Just get on with it, and yeah, I think that's a thing, really, just getting past that perfectionism, because it can be a real
hindrance. Yeah, no, I understand that roadblock. I get it. All right, if you could go back in time, if you go back in time, what year or what time period would you like to go back to?
I have a few times that I'd back to the 20s and the 60s. They're my favorite. Like, just seems like some cool, culturally really cool times.
Right.
Other than that, a bit more personally, I think I'd really like to go back to my younger self.
Yeah.
Before because for a little bit I lost my motivation to play golf.
Mm-hmm.
But I had some really great opportunities that I let go of because of that, and I would have loved to tell myself to keep grinding, find those things that you love, and keep at it, because I think that could have taken me a lot of places.
Right, very cool. Okay, two-part question. How would you describe yourself, and how would your friends describe you?
Well, I describe myself as fantastic.
Yes, of course, why not?
Yeah, no, I think my friends, I know my friends would describe me as a little bit uptight. Just the perfectionism coming through again.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a thing, but
you're awesome to be around, even if you are a perfectionist.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, yeah, a little bit awkward at times, but try and get beyond that.
Aren't we all? Come on. Okay, three-part question. Favorite time of day, favorite day of the week, favorite month of the year?
Favorite time of day, definitely getting home from school and knowing you're done for the day, have that cup of coffee or whatever it is, and then kind of get on with the rest of it. Favorite time of, what was the second one, of the week?
Yeah, day of the week. Yeah,
so
Sebastian's off there making noise, so we confuse you. Yeah, day of the week, yeah.
I think probably Saturday as well, because when you really know you've done everything you needed to do, now it's your time. I mean, I'm a student, so you have the whole week is filled up, so having that Saturday to really relax, and if you have homework to do, if you have anything, push it off to Sunday, and then so just taking Saturday for myself and all the things that I love doing. Yeah.
And then finally, month of the year or time of the year?
When summer turns to fall, Denmark, it's a bit colder than it is most places, and I love that. I don't know, I hope it's not a thing that's going to settle, but I've noticed that when it's colder, I tend to play better golf.
There you go.
Just because it's easier for me to settle into, and I just love the fall.
There you go. Well, it's going to be cold starting tomorrow, so I'm expecting these scores to just
Trickle
drop.
down.
Yeah, it goes in the 70s and then the 60s, and there goes your scores down in the 70s and 60s. I like it. Sounds good. All right. If you could learn to do anything you can't currently do, what would that be?
I would love to speak more languages. I do speak a few as it is.
Well, you already got 2.
I've got Danish.
She speaks better English than I do. I mean, seriously.
Currently, I've got Danish, English, and German, and then being from Scandinavia, Swedish and Norwegian isn't very far off, and I know
Right.
quite a lot of their languages as well, so
Sure,
I've
yeah.
got those. But I would love to be even better at Italian, Spanish, French, because I
Right.
took some, and in school we had to take Latin as well.
Oh, wow.
So I've got a foundation for it, but it falls away as soon as you don't know anything about it. So.
Yeah, and it's not like a lot of people speak Latin because it's a
No.
dead language. But very cool to say you can speak it. So I'm guessing also you'd probably love to speak, since you want to go to Japan, you'd probably like to speak some kind of
That would
Asian
be so cool, and
language,
they
yeah.
actually did offer that in my school, in high school. So when my friends took it, and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
I would have loved to do that.
I just don't like konnichiwa, but I'm pretty sure that's Chinese, so not even right. All right, do you have any pets?
I do not.
Do you want any pets?
I do very much. I used to have a rabbit way back when.
Must be another Danish
Yeah,
thing.
my
You guys
sister's
really
rabbit
are.
and it died.
Sure,
and it
you're
was a
not
whole
brother
big
and sister.
deal.
Like you guys are like, wow. Okay,
Yeah, I was
these
sitting
stories
there
really are
thinking they're the
overlapping a lot.
Yeah, no, that rabbit is the only thing because my sister, it was hers, but she's asthmatic, so we never could have another
Gotcha.
pet. And ever since I wanted a dog, I'm gonna have a dog someday, but I know being a golfer like this and having all these other things being gone so much, it's not
Yeah.
a thing I can do until I get settled. So
Trust me, the pets like when you're around. They really enjoy that. So,
So.
feel bad for them when
One
you're
day.
not around.
yeah,
All right. Last but not least, if money were no object and you couldn't be a pro athlete, what would your dream job be?
I'd really like to do some kind of journal editing,
Right.
newspaper, magazine editing. I've done stuff like that in the past, just for my high school, and
Sure.
I love writing, so
Very
that'd
cool.
be a really cool thing.
Alrighty. You're far away from home, so shout out time to everybody back home.
Yes, well, I hope everybody's watching. I hope my parents, my sister, everybody, but they probably will do because I'm probably going to post this on my Facebook. So.
All right. Well, Helene Larsen, appreciate you coming in. Best of luck as the season progresses, and again, as the temperatures drop, expect to see her scores drop as well. So, no pressure. But again, best of luck as the season progresses. So, thanks for coming in.